Welcome back to Where Bluebirds Walk. Merry Christmas to you. Top of the league at Christmas. That usually means those sitting at the top of League One get promoted. Fingers crossed that is exactly what happens. We've got Jamie here, who's fresh back from Lincoln with his view of was a quite disappointing performance. Was the Chelsea game to blame? We'll get Jamie's view on all that in a second. Some people say we looked leggy. Alex is one. Lucky will the teams lost with 2 massive home games now to come. 3 points clear with the game in hand. Turner was very poor. Lawler's passing was, well, never mind. We looked leggy after Tuesday, and of course with a National League referee. This is 20 more minutes of Cardiff City chat. Hope you're doing well. Great to have your company back with us again. Coming up on this week's episode then, we are going to ask Jamie to take a gift and give it to any League One player, any one League One fan base for Christmas. We're talking about who's the best away support we've seen at the Cardiff City Stadium so far this season. We're talking about our player of 2025, and we're up to letter K in our A to Z. Loads to get through. Ellis is poorly this week, so get well, Ellis. Jamie, good to have you back. Nightmare journeys all round to Lincoln, was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the typical Christmas time, isn't it, where your train cancellations, lastminute.com all the time, and then you have to find alternative ways, but we did. It's the things you do when you support your club. It adds to the whole thing of the day, I suppose. But, yeah, I mean, results aside, it was a good day out up in Lincoln, and it was a good atmosphere. And I think, credit to Lincoln fans. You can see probably why I still call it Sinsel Bank. I know it's the LNER, but they've got a corner of the ground which they do. They make a good racket and a good bit of noise, so it was a good day out, and unfortunately we came on the wrong side of the results.
Yeah, there's been some real reflections on it by Cardiff fans facing this one. Here's one from Rick: says, we can't win them all. Lincoln are a good side and doing well in the league this season. They will be there or thereabouts for sure. Yeah, are they the best side you've played so far, do you think?
I don't think they were the best side. I think they found a plan and a way to sort of maybe slow us down in possession or allow us to have the possession but be sort of resolute defensively and cause us a threat with their physicality. We moved the ball fairly well. It seems to be like I said, a way that we're trying to play, maintaining possession, trying to make sides move in and around, and that's where our goal came from. But it does have its sort of contradictions in a way where sometimes when you're behind in games, you maybe want to get the ball forward a bit quicker, a bit more direct and mix it up. And to be fair to Lincoln, I think Barrow had probably 25-minute spell when we'd scored. I think they nullified that, and their manager takes a bit of credit because he kind of did the old dark art, wasn't it? You make a substitution and then your player goes down injured at the same time, which allows you then that extra time just to almost tell your team that how the subs are going to play. So, listen, I think they were deserved winners overall. Luckily, as the previously mentioned tweet said, we didn't necessarily lose ground or anyone didn't gain ground on us. That's the joys of the league we're in. But now Boxing Day and the 29th with the upcoming games do feel really, really big again because we need those points.
You mentioned the goal. It's a shame that wasn't a winning goal or a goal that counts for anything, because that's the goal of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would have looked that slight bit better if that their player hadn't missed the interception. But the way we navigated it, and the way we were able to manipulate in a small area, the pass and move. If it was a bigger side doing that sort of goal, they'd be loading it up and, saying how it's their way and so on and so forth. But it was a really good goal, and it goes to show what Perry NG can do, but also players in and around the team. Perry NG for his defensive work is top notch, and he's not necessarily always lauded and given the acclimates for what he can do on the ball. But it was a brilliant goal, and even the finish, it was the composure on the run to dink it over the keeper. It was a brilliant goal, and I think that's probably the template of a goal that Barry Murphy is making himself accustomed to, and hopefully our football club for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, just on that point, Swella says, I don't understand why we overcomplicate it sometimes, trying to score the perfect goal. Every time we get in a good crossing position, we turn and pass it back. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think, especially towards the end, like, throughout the second half, it was, I think frustration happens when you're behind in any game. And the way I suppose we conceded the goal, especially the second from a corner, when you're on top of the game, you kind of feel like maybe we got a bit more urgency. We want to get the ball forward. And I think, again, when you're playing a side like Lincoln who are in and around us, these little sort of nuances of the game, they add that bit of pressure, don't they? And listen, I think we're going to score goals which are like the Perry NG goal, and we'll be saying how great we play and how what a goal it is and the BBM way. But then we also need to probably score or do a bit better when we're going a bit more direct, because sides will naturally sit a bit deeper. They may step off us a little bit, and you're not going to have the ability to just sort of go in between the lines. You might need to get the ball in the box earlier. And at times I feel like someone said there, maybe we, instead of crossing the ball, we've gone backwards to go across the pitch. Why not put it in the mixer a bit earlier and cause a bit of a threat like Lincoln did when Alex Robertson has scored the own goal, unfortunately.
Yeah. How much was Chelsea to blame for that result? There's a number of fans. I mean, I'll bring up one here. Jamie says, and he says, this is where the small squad is going to F us over. 6 or 7 of those players were absolutely effed in the last half hour. Lawler, Ashford, etc. We need some squad rotation. Boxing date is what it is. Lincoln will also take points from teams around us. Had that Chelsea game not happened midweek, or he'd put out a different squad, which some are arguing he should have done, given obviously it was Chelsea in the cup, but Lincoln was far the bigger game. Do you think we would have had a different outcome?
Possibly. I suppose it's if buts and maybes, isn't it? They were fresh. You could see that they would have had the extra time to probably work out a plan in between their game between Blackpool and ourselves. You know, we've had cup games. We've had a lot of cup games, and it's the league that we're in. But with the Carabao Cup, we've earned that night and the occasion it was Chelsea. We showed the world cameras what we're about, and I think we came out of that game with glowing reviews, and it was nice to see it. We actually scored against a side who had to bring on multi-million-pound players, but then it took a lot out of us. You get that energy from the fans and the game that you're playing. Um, it's a big step off. No disrespect to Lincoln, then going from playing at home against Chelsea to going up to Sinsel Bank, as I'm going to call it again, where the conditions were very foggy. It was quite a cold day, and it's a completely different game. And again, fair play to Lincoln. They probably knew that as well going into it, that we might have been a bit leggy. But listen, it's the league we're in, and we've just got to learn. I think we're still a young squad. We've got to learn on the job, and I think Brian Barry Murphy will probably keep rotating the team over the festive period, because I think we need fresh players. We need fresh legs, because otherwise, how are you expected to play a high tempo game every week, or every couple of days? If players have played 90 minutes, 60 minutes, it's going to catch up on them.
Yeah, and you're right to point out the plaudits against Chelsea. Yeah, I think actually, if anything, Cardiff looked like the Premier League side for many parts of that game. Great atmosphere. Good to have the stadium full. Or do you look at it as somebody who travels to every game, going, "Oh, you can come to the Chelsea here, but where are you against? Where you gonna be this weekend?"
Yeah, I mean, it's each side of the coin, isn't it? You'd imagine success will bring your fan base back, because good times keep breed that. But I think, again, I think the general consensus is, in any sport or in any sort of entertainment business, whatever you want to call it, when a bigger opposition or a bigger brand come down to play you, it attracts more of a fan base, doesn't it? It attracts the neutral fans, maybe the more casual fans. And also, there are mitigations. I know people may say season tickets and so on, that there may be a financial burden as well. But you'd love to see it. It just gave you a taste, and I suppose the players a taste of what the stadium can be like if it's full. And even if we get, say, 10% of those extra numbers that turned up against Chelsea in a home game, we're in the 20 odd thousands then. And the place can make a lot of teams find it uncomfortable coming down to the Cardiff City Stadium when the atmosphere is really good, because I think everyone plays a part, and attacking that Canton end in the second half, we almost sort of suck the ball in with that sort of noise.
Brilliant. So let's turn up for Exeter and Stevenage then. Yeah, 2 home games to see out the year should be straightforward. 3 points we hope against Exeter, of course, on Boxing Day, and then Monday night on TV against Stevenage. Of course, it's the return of that 1-0 win. It only feels like yesterday you were at Stevenage about, Jamie, doesn't it? You're playing them again.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think we had the similar thing with Watford last year. It's amazing how the festive periods and works. And like I said, we as it currently stands with all the fixtures and the congestion, we've still got that game in hand, which was from I think it was October the 11th against Barnsley away, which I for my memory can't understand or remember a game being rearranged so distant away. We're going to be playing at this rate. We'll be playing Barnsley at home before we even play them away.
Madness. Right. First of all, we want to say massive thank you to everyone who's been following and commenting, especially last week on the channel. Really made up. We've got a nice little community here. We know there's bigger Cardiff channels that you can watch, but this is obviously just 20 minutes each week, going through all the good, bad, and social media takes of this wonderful club. Who's your player of the year, Jamie? Let's get that out of the way first of all. So 2025 is only 2 weeks away from finishing at the time of this recording. Thinking back to January, the Championship, and thinking back to what you've watched now, who deserves Cardiff City's player of the year?
I think, especially when you look at where we were in January, albeit with the relegation, and his continued goal-scoring form, I think Salah gets probably the plaudits from that. If I take it into a second part of 2025 with the season to date and so far, Joe Bacon for me is somebody I think has played really, really well and has played a lot of minutes. I just hope that, and we continue to talk about these contracts and stuff like that, hopefully we can get him tied down because he's a free agent in the summer. Perry Ng is really, really, I think, stepped up in the last few months. Started the season off obviously injured and so on, but he's had to buy his time with the emergence of Roland Capaccio and some of our youngsters. And yeah, there's a few honourable mentions there, but I think Salah takes it because of the goal scorings, and we know how much importance there is on goal scorers in this league, and they're like gold dust. And to keep hold of your best asset, which is probably him at the moment with the goal scoring coming into January, I think is a big thing for us.
Yeah, I want to shout out Trott as well. I think he's been superb.
Yeah,
and hopefully his injury isn't too severe as well. Brilliant. Right then, we're up to letter K in the A to Z. Few to choose from here?
Oh, there's quite a few. There's probably good and bad, to be fair, with Cardiff. Okay. We've had a few. So moments, I think one person, well, there's two names for individual moments. One will be Graham Kavanagh, that free kick against Leeds at Ninian Park. Brilliant. And Cedric Kipre for his goal away at Rotherham. Just the fact that it was just the rearranged game, the whole things about it were brilliant. And obviously we've got two current youngsters in our team, Capaccio and Eli King. So there's probably more. Hopefully the community can get involved with it and they'll list a lot.
Yeah.
I would like this one. Probably they can say the most, not worst, but someone who probably hasn't got the best of memories of Cardiff City. A striker of last season, ended up loan, Wilfred Kanga.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, or Dimitri Konstantopoulos, the goalkeeper, who that's particularly good for us. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm not going to mention more because it'd be good to see the community comment. So
I think that goal against Rotherham was so important, wasn't it, from where you were to where you are when obviously the eventuality happened. But yeah.
It was a good night because everything surrounded it, the Sky Sports cameras and the whole, let's say the Watergate, Raingate, whatever you want to call it. And I think, we went up there with a bit between our teeth. It wasn't an easy game on a Thursday night, I believe it was. And, we had the altercation on the sideline with Sol Bamba and Lee Peltier. But to score it, and it wasn't just scoring the goal, but it's the way he got up and volleyed it and just ran straight into the Cardiff fans. Yeah, it was a brilliant night, and that trip back from Yorkshire wasn't too bad, to be fair.
Brilliant. Who's the best fan base that we've visited so far, Jamie? In your view, we're giving some season. It's a season of goodwill.
I think Bradford start the season. They were brilliant. I mean, they pretty much filled out their end, and they had a good atmosphere. Rightly, probably went on to win the game as well. And yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because there are smaller fan bases, and it doesn't mean because you have less or bigger numbers that you're always going to have a better atmosphere. So credit to those fans who came down. You've got Burton Albion who came down on a Tuesday night and beat us in front of about 200 travelling fans, and you just got to applaud that because, like you said, whilst there might not be, let's say, massive numbers, you take off your hat off to fans who take the time out of their weeks to go and watch their clubs and spend money that we all know in the current climate as we are in is not always easy to come across.
Brilliant. And finally, this week we're asking Jamie to give a gift. It could be any gift, any present to any Championship League One player, or referee, or manager, or fan base. Who needs a gift this Christmas, Jamie?
Shall I stay selfish? That's the question. I mean, we always say, you give your gift to your loved ones and stuff like that and your family. So I'd like to give ourselves a gift. I think, I just think that, what Brian Barry Murphy has achieved so far to this date with the club where we were probably in, well, let's be brutally honest, we were in very grey clouds, a lot of uncertainty. We waited for a very long time to get an appointment as a manager. He came in and has put a lot of trust into our youngsters, has put a lot of trust and belief into his own way of playing. And I think overall at the minute, I think we're quite rightly where we should be, with the view, hopefully, of pushing on now in the second part of the season. But yeah, I think we've waited so long as a fan base and as a club for a manager to come in and almost implement their style, carry out their style, but also be mindful of the young prospects that we've got coming through. So yeah, Brian Barry Murphy gets my Christmas gift. I'd love to say to any other League One club I'd give them gifts, but I'm pretty sure they might have gifts from us when we make our mistakes during games, because we do make mistakes. We're young. But yeah, hopefully come what may, the gift will be a trophy and we're going back up.
Excellent. Yeah, the League One trophy to Barry Murphy. Excellent. Super. Right. Obviously, we want to just finish by saying I'm wishing all of you a very Merry Christmas and a great 2026. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Ellis and Craig, others that have contributed to this channel. We massively enjoy talking about Cardiff every single week and the highs and the lows that come with supporting this club. You're going to get some time off over Christmas, Jamie, to sit down and play Scrabble with the kids and the wife, or is it just football all the way for you?
We're quite lucky. I mean, I'm working into Christmas Day. It's just the profession that I'm in mental health supported living, so I don't mind. The kids are used to that. But Boxing Day is the one. We're quite lucky this year with Cardiff City that we're at home for Boxing Day on the 29th. So it's nice that we can kind of enjoy that before going to Wickham on New Year's. So yeah, just listen. It's all about work-life balance, isn't it? And hopefully the best Christmas present for me will be a win on Boxing Day and a win on the 29th, and we'll be still at the top of the league.
Brilliant. We will catch up with you in the new year then. Thank you all so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below if you've got any other ideas for letter K, and we'll read some of these out next time. Have a great Christmas, everyone. This has been Where Bluebirds Walk. Do drop a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. That was a great Christmas present to us. See you next week.